Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Fitz and Chip podcast.
I'm Fitz.
And I'm Chip. And for the first time in our podcast journey, we have a special guest today, Miss Kelly Washington.
Hey, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you
Thanks,
so much
thanks
for
for being
joining
on.
us. You are
So today we, oh,
you
please
are our
go ahead,
first
Fitz.
guest ever, and our most special guest. So you're winning multiple awards.
I didn't realize you never had a guest before. I feel so
No,
honored.
yeah, this is the first time. And it's awesome. We appreciate you being here so much. So honestly, thank you. Um, so today we're gonna talk about special episode to all of us. We're going to talk about a movie that came out about 30 years ago. We're talking a Goofy movie on the anniversary.
Well, a little past the
Um,
anniversary, but
sure, yep.
anniversary
Um,
month still.
but a documentary recently came out on Disney Plus about a Goofy movie. And we thought we'd all watch it and just kind of discuss why we love a Goofy movie and like what it means to all of us. So first of all, Kelly, what is your history with Disney? Why is Disney your jam?
The first time I ever went to a Disney theme park, I was in my mother's tummy. And then I've continued to go at least once a year since. Um, when I moved to California, now I go once a week to Disneyland. So I have quite an addiction to the theme parks. I like that it keeps your childlike wonder alive. I feel
Yeah.
accepted for whoever I want to be. I can run around and like be super excited about something and not feel judged, and I love that. And I think that growing up, the movies were always just such a beautiful little escape. I mean, they're Disney movies. They're their own category for a reason, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's true. Like you don't like Disney movies like people don't talk about studio movies as like its own genre, but Disney movies are for sure.
Yeah, when you think like it's like, oh well, this director, like a Scorsese film is a Scorsese film or Tarantino's Tarantino, but Disney is Disney.
Only really next category that became Pixar, which then got bought by Disney. So all in the same
Exactly.
family at this point.
Yeah, right. I'm so jealous. I've never been to Disneyland and it is just like it is the number one thing on my like next thing to do list, but we Fitz and I Fitz has been.
Yeah, I
I'm the
only
only
got
one
to
who
do
hasn't.
one day of 10 hours single person park hopping between the two. So I've done it, but I haven't done it. And that was
Right.
before they put Avengers or Pixar Pier over there. So I did
Oh
get
wow. I mean, it's the reason I love Disney is Disneyland because it is really clear that this park has so much love and creativity, and I love the fact that there was a company where it was just like do what you want, let your imagination run wild and let's see what happens. And I think that's the part that really gets me with Disney. um, I'm not like a Walt worshiper, but I'm nostalgic for like the original Imagineers and all of
Yep.
the incredible inventions and you know things, the IP and stuff that we still are obsessed with. So
Yeah.
including Goofy and Max.
I know it's so awesome. Right before we started this podcast, I actually went and watched The Art of Skiing, which is like the classic Goofy, like my favorite Goofy short film. So I watched that like right before we did this, like 'cause it's just so funny where like Goofy has come like in all these years from Goofy, that Goofy to a Goofy movie. It's just wild what they accomplished with that character.
Oh yeah.
so on that note, with your love of the Disney parks, I would be remiss if I didn't ask, what is your favorite ride of all time?
I have a feeling that you might already know this, but maybe other people don't because they have no idea who I am. Um, so I have a favorite attraction, and it is the Haunted Mansion. It is by far the best attraction ever.
Let's go. We are on the same team.
We did a bracket last year, and Haunted Mansion won out of ours because it is the best attraction.
Yeah.
It
We
is.
had no it was funny, like we didn't when we went in, like I don't know what's gonna win this. And then as we got through the rounds and the brackets, we were like, Haunted Mansion's just kind of unbeatable, I think. There's something about that attraction. Oh, it's perfect. It is the perfect Imagineering story. Like it is 10 out of 10. I
It's my
agree.
favorite thing to talk about. And I am honored that I have gotten now to one of my best friends. Her grandmother was the first female Imagineer ever. Her name is Harriet Burns. And so through my friend Haley, I've gotten to meet these incredible Imagineers and listen to their stories. And I'm like, I mean, I'm dying. Like they're just like living their normal life, and they're just like, yeah, I did this thing, and I'm like, it was your idea to put that piece of silverware in the ballroom scene? What? You know?
I, you
That's
know,
amazing. Yeah.
just very
The
jealous of all
Imagineers are
that.
just like, I don't get starstruck, but the idea of Imagineers are like rock stars to me, like 100%. There's something,
Oh
the
yeah.
imagining story on Disney Plus is my comfort. Like that has become whenever I go to bed at night, like if I don't know what, I just put that on and fall asleep to it. I've watched it countless times. I love the Imagineering story.
It's so good.
Yeah. I know Fitz feels the same way. Like
Yeah.
we talk Imagineers, like it's so funny.
The plus side is like where we work. Sometimes we get to work together, and there's a 99% chance that one of us is listening to Disney music or our podcast. Well, that's always a fun part too. When you walk around the corner and see your buddy, when you're hearing him in your head.
Yeah.
That's funny.
All right. So, I guess we should talk about the main attraction, the man himself, the goof.
Yeah,
Okay.
let's do it.
What
All right.
is
So,
your earliest memory of this movie? This is either one of you. I did not see this in theaters. This was a home video for me because we didn't go to the
Oh yeah,
movies a
I
lot
didn't.
when I was a kid.
Was it? Did it make it to
It
theaters?
made it to theaters for a
it
very short
was,
time.
but yeah, the problem was like it was sandwiched at the time of like the golden era, the resurgence of Disney. So like it was like between I don't know exactly like Lion King and like the next like maybe Aladdin. So it was just kind of like this little blip and then it was like gone. So
Yeah,
it had a
because Lion
very
King's
short run.
94, and then 95. Yeah,
Yeah, it
95
was.
is Goofy movie, right?
yeah,
So
Yeah.
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 Well, it was scheduled to come out on Thanksgiving of '94, but then they talk about this in the documentary where when they were recording it off the monitor, they noticed there was a dead pixel in it, so they ended up having to re-record 3/4 of the movie, which actually saved them because they got to fix some stuff on it. But that pushed them out of
Yep.
Thanksgiving to the April release date it had.
Oh,
I remember seeing this in the theater. My mom used to take me to Disney movies. My first movie theater experience was Beauty and the Beast. My mom taking me, so like that, that has such a special place for me. But I remember her taking me to see Goofy movie, and like at the time as a kid, it didn't resonate enough. It's kind of like we bought the VHS and I watched it more, and it started to like sink in how much this movie was saying. Even as a kid, I was like, this is a big movie for Goofy. Like I remember thinking that like this is like a really cool take on the goof, you know?
yeah. My earliest memory. I'm like, I don't even know what my first Disney movie in theaters was. You're making me question my childhood. I'm like, what did I see? It was definitely. I probably watched it when I was young, but
Hmm.
it would have been a little before my time, and remembering some things. My actual earliest memory of my obsession is in high school. Um, the boy I was dating at the time, it was his favorite movie.
Oh,
And I was like, "Oh, I don't know if I remember this." And we watched it and I was like, "This is the greatest movie I have ever seen. It is now my number one by every other movie. I love you."
Yeah, no, it's really wild. In the documentary, they mentioned like the approach. Like, you could have had Goofy skiing and crashing through walls for 2 hours, but they said they wanted to make like a John Hughes movie, but like with Goofy, and like that's such a I've never heard that's such a great take on like what it feels
Yeah.
like. It's a coming of age movie, like, and if anybody has any relationship or lack of one with parental figures, this movie is just like so important. Like it says so much.
and holds up so well. Where a lot of movies in that era just don't. Like you could we I watch it all the time. The kiddo loves a Goofy movie. That soundtrack that's on in our car. If it's not Taylor Swift, it's a Goofy movie. That's how high ranking it is in the
Right.
movies and the video and the music in the car. So once a month that movie on in our house easily. It's great.
Yeah, it really is. And my wife and I have been together for 10 years now, and I feel like she like knew of it, but I was like, Goofy movie's like like not a good Disney movie. It's just a good movie, and now it's completely grown on her, and she loves it now too, which is great. So I get to kind of have this like we never, she never really cared for it, and now it was like, oh, this is an amazing movie. Like, yeah, it really, really is. Like, it still hits for someone who's just kind of getting into it now.
Yeah, it's timeless. I actually think, and part of it has the power of, 90s nostalgia is really big
Oh
now.
yeah,
And so people crave that type of art form. So I think that's where its relevance comes from, partially. And then partially because it's a story we all relate to with
Mhm.
fire music, like like the
Yeah.
best music. But then it's a story that all of us have to like look at our childhoods and be like, oof, I relate to this. And then as you get older, I'm sure you relate to the other side, you know.
Yeah, and that's incredible. Like to understand where Max is coming from as a kid and being like, yeah, like I just need my space and my parents aren't cool. You know what I mean? And you're just kind of you want to be your own person. And then as you grow older, you're just like, man, like all your parents wanted was to be there for you. Like that's all they want, you know?
Yeah.
It really is like a beautiful story. And it's goofy, so you just don't didn't no one saw it coming, what they wanted to do with this. It's so great. I know, I mean, I'm sure I'm speaking for everybody. Like, High Dad Soup is like one of the. I don't I can't watch that scene and not tear up. Like I can't. It's so strong, and then also it's juxtaposed with the Sasquatch puppet show right before is like kills me. Like I laugh like a fool every time, like during that. It's just so good.
Well, yeah, you get a random Bigfoot sighting, and people like, "What is this? This is awesome." Aubrey, the little one, loves Bigfoot, so like she forgot about that for a while, and then we watched it one day. She's like, "Oh my god, Bigfoot's in this movie!"
I love that your kid is obsessed with Bigfoot. That's
Yeah, she's awesome anyway. She's, her favorite ride is also Haunted Mansion. The first time we went on it, we got stuck. The ride stopped right when the coffin guy was lifting up and all the knocking and banging. And I was like, kind of a little scary at that point. Maybe we got off the ride and she wasn't going to be happy. And she was like, can we immediately go on it again? And I'm like, got her.
oh,
We're great.
I love it.
Yeah, she's a cool kid. She's a brave little kid. Like it's when I was a baby, I was scared of everything when I was a kid. Like even the Haunted Mansion was like scary to me the first time I went to Disney. So that's awesome that she just loves that kind of stuff.
You didn't tell us what your earliest memory was of.
So I distinctly remember watching this more so with my little brother. My older brother had aged out of Disney movies at this time. On the old, we had VCR and that old type of TV where you had to turn the knobs because we did not update TVs frequently back then. It was just like we wore that tape out at the time. So I remember
Yeah,
we
the
got it.
old Disney clamshells.
Yep. Well, we rented it for a while before we bought it because there was a old video store right down the street from our house that we used to go to all the time before Blockbuster existed, and then bought them all out.
I didn't realize there were video stores before Blockbuster.
We're old, Kelly.
Yeah, we are. The mom and pop video stores were wild back then.
Yeah.
There was Hollywood Video, I do know that, which I'm sure we rented it from somewhere at some point, but I have it on DVD. And it's the DVD I've had since high school.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
Yeah, I still have the physical, which Tasha was like, "Do we need Disney Plus still? You have like 80% of the movies on physical." And I was like, "Well, it is easier, but I do like my physical." So,
Convenient.
what's a really
Yeah,
fun?
we were talking about go ahead,
Sorry,
Fitz.
buddy.
Sorry.
It was produced by Jeffrey Katzenberg, who then had a falling out with Disney and went to start DreamWorks during the end of this movie, and then Disney only released it because they were contractually obligated to. They just saw it as like, well, it's already mostly done and we already have it, so we'll just release it.
can you imagine if they didn't?
I know. Like
What a bad idea.
it's so sad to think of a world where like it could have just got put on a shelf and we wouldn't be sitting here. We wouldn't love Powerline.
Well,
Like
they still didn't know what they
Powerline
had.
alone. Oh my god.
It came out. It cost 18 million to make and barely made like 37 million at the box office. So they're like, it's obviously not a hit. But because it was their own and they could license it so cheap, it just grew in popularity on ABC, World of Disney, and eventually when Disney Channel put movies on it, and it took up
Yep.
a ton of steam in video rentals and video sales.
And now they have gold on their hands and they know it. You
Oh
know,
yeah.
uh,
Especially like a lot of the actors didn't realize how big it was until they did the 30th at D23 10 years ago, and the room was so packed they were turning people away, and they're like, "What is going on?" Like,
Yeah, that's great.
yeah. And I think that is that when Tevin Campbell went out and sang?
yeah,
Oh,
Oh my, that's unbelievable. Like, what an icon Powerline is. Those two songs are. You could argue they're two of the best Disney songs, like along with the rest of the soundtrack. But I mean, Powerline, it's so iconic at this point. We listened to Fitz and I. We used to work right next to each other at work, and we would play Powerline. What 3 days a week every morning,
yeah.
like for sure. Like, yep, let's start the day off right.
oh yeah. That sounds like excellent coffee
Oh
right
yeah,
there.
Yeah.
yep.
So
You know, it's funny we're talking about what a '90s quintessential movie it is. Pauly Shore being in the movie also was like such a cultural like important choice. I feel like for the time,
Yes.
like he plays such an awesome character. He's Pauly Shore essentially, just in animated
and
form. But I just feel like it was it was so important for like to get somebody like that to kind of like make
Oh yeah.
feel authentic.
With
You
the
know?
Leaning Tower of Jesus.
oh,
It's so good.
who played the principal? Why am I'm drawing a blank on his name? He was
It's the
I have it up here.
it's the act. It's inconceivable.
yeah,
The
Yeah,
Princess
Princess
Mhm.
Bride.
Bride. I know his name in Princess. What? I literally brought this up because I wanted to talk about it, and now I can't find it. Um, Wallace Shawn is the actor's name.
Ah, yep.
Wallace Michael
oh
Shawn.
yes, Wallace Shawn.
Yep.
I mean, what a
Yeah,
terrific voiceover actor and actor. I mean, great
yeah.
actor,
He's
but what an iconic voice.
yeah. The principal, the telling him his son is going to be, what is he? I forget the exact line, but
Uh,
essentially Max is
going to get the
destined
electric
for a
chair.
life of destitute. What's that?
His son will line up in the electric chair.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
It's so good. It's just like, and that brings that nostalgia back too. If you grew up with Princess Bride or anything else with him, it's just like, it's like comforting to have all these voices in this movie.
I love
Agreed.
I love how it's like it's permeated pop culture in so many ways. So I play a game called Destiny quite often still. They have emotes from everything you could think of. They have the perfect cast, and that has been on my character since the day it released, and I have done that dance in every corner of that game to this day. It's great.
You
The
can
power
you
line
can
dance.
Yeah, you can do the perfect cast power line dance. It's great.
Oh, that's awesome. I recently went to a Disney wedding and it was at Disney World and the characters come out during the reception and they dance with you. And I guess they're usually only allowed to come out for a certain amount of time, but they were really they liked us a lot. So they all came back out to do eye to eye with us. And there's I would say a well-known Disney slash movie reviewer. His name is Juju. He's Straw Hat Goofy, and I mean, they went hard on him. You know, for the 30th anniversary, sending him all the merch because he has that dance down. So him and Mickey are doing it together. I had just had surgery, so I'm kind of just like hobbling in the corner. I cannot dance, and that was the worst part. But getting to watch Mickey Mouse do that dance was chef's kiss.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
My wife and I yesterday were just watching like a quick YouTube tutorial on like how to do it. And we are both not coordinated people at all. And we watched it a couple times and we're like, this is beyond us, but give us 6 months. We got this. We were like committed. Like we're gonna get this figured out. So when the time comes when we're at a Disney park or something, and we're just gonna look like this is the moment we've been waiting for. We're ready. Like we
Yes.
can just dive in.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to. Um, I need my significant other to learn it because that song may or may not be featured at my wedding.
Yeah, I can imagine.
It's not even my favorite. I actually, if we're talking, I mean, you have kind of three big songs. You have After Today, Eye to Eye, and
Yep.
Stand Out.
Yep.
And if I'm being really honest, Stand Out is forever like one of my favorite songs of all
Yeah,
time.
I actually, yeah, I personally, like, um, I do prefer Standout. Like, they're both great. Don't get me wrong, but Standout is just awesome. It's so cool. Like, it's so 90s cool. There's something about that song that's just like they understood the assignment, and it's like, yep, this is like what a 90s cool guy sounds like, you know?
Oh yeah,
The entire soundtrack, like you talked about, is just banger after banger. Again, it's on. Besides just being on
Yeah.
my playlist generally, it is a soundtrack that is listened to in the car, usually front to back. On Thursdays, I bring the kiddo to D&D, and it's like a 40-minute ride. That's usually like the soundtrack on the way there is a Goofy movie, just because.
that's awesome.
Yeah, and on top of like those three, like I couldn't agree more. But nobody else but you, like I have trouble listening to this song.
Oh,
Like I'm like I don't know if I'm emotionally ready to just listen to this song today. Like I just like no, I'm gonna skip it for now because I'm just not there. But that song, oh, it's beautiful. I love it.
you're right. I think that the story of a Goofy movie, when you go through the center of it, it's hard to watch. Like, and I think that's why maybe it didn't hit in theaters, as well, is because everyone's going in thinking it's just going to be Goofy being silly, and it's like you said, it's different storytelling than we expected. So it takes like it isn't just a Disney movie then. I mean, you really have to sit with that, and it can be hard. So
It can be.
sometimes that's the kind of thing where you're like, oh, I don't know if I was mentally prepared for this. But then
Yeah.
you have to be like, okay, but the end is happy. I know the end is happy. So just get to the end.
That's how I get through most Disney and especially Pixar movies, right?
Oh, yeah. Well, any Pixar movie.
Yeah, it's just like I know this is gonna return. There's one. You ever see The Good Dinosaur? It's just a tangent, but don't ever watch that movie if you haven't. Just don't.
Okay. So, I am obsessed with dinosaurs. And I tried to watch A Good Dinosaur when it came out. I couldn't stop bawling after the
Yep.
first major bit.
Yep.
So I turned it off. And I didn't
Good.
actually rewatch it or start to rewatch it until I was on an airplane like 2 weeks ago.
That's a
It
great
was
place to
after
Wow.
watch that. Yeah, just ball your eyes out on an airplane. It's fine.
it. Well, you're gonna cry on an airplane anyway. And I just finished a Goofy movie actually, like on the airplane. So then I was like, oh, you know what? I never actually watched what Arlo and his little journey was. So then I didn't get to finish it because I landed, but I was like, okay, it did get better. It was not as sad. But he's like so bullied, and then his dad dies. Oh my God.
Oh, it's a rough watch.
Oh,
But anyway, bring that down. I'll never watch that movie again. I was one and done with that movie. I was like so distraught by it. But I'm not distraught by a Goofy movie. Like it does end. It ends great.
It,
Uh,
it sometimes feels like
it
it's
just
too
like
quick. Like it's only 78 minutes long, so it's not even a full like hour and a half. It's just it goes by like that.
it does.
yeah, it's a
It,
really quick movie.
and if I have a single critique, and I hate to even use that word because I'm just in love with that movie, the the finale like happens so quickly from like the moment of like okay we'll get you to that concert and then it's like oh they're at the concert okay and it's just like it wraps up so fast is like my only complaint if I had any because I just want more time with that story. It's so good. So I guess one there's one other scene in that movie that like we haven't touched on that I think is like just an important scene um to like people growing up watching that movie. The scene where they catch up with Pete and PJ and they have like the father discussion of like parenting and like
Is this with
Pete's
the
approach.
waterbed?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
And like Pete's approach to parenting and like Goofy and like his approach and like there's a line that's just like stuck in my brain like when Pete says like my son was it my son respects me, you know, and Goofy's just like that's it's just so Goofy's just like yeah that's great but like you should have more than respect with your son, you know, it's like I don't know. It's just such a scene that I always was like, wow, this is crazy because I grew up like I have a great relationship with my father. Like it's great, it's wonderful to this day. He's my hero, and I remember that scene just being like, I'm so fortunate that I have the Goofy dad and not the Pete
Aw.
dad. And I remember thinking that when my dad doesn't watch Disney movies, like he's never seen like we don't have a bond over this movie or anything. But I remember just thinking, looking at my dad a little differently, being like, I'm very fortunate that I'm Max, you know. And I think that was just such an the movie was saying so much for an animated movie, you know?
Not just an animated
Yeah,
movie,
and
a goofy movie. Like this isn't like
Right, right.
this was Pixar before Pixar existed. Like we got a movie with a very touching story.
Yeah.
yeah, you. I have so many different thoughts right now because at first I was like, okay, well we didn't really discuss we if we're gonna break down the scenes, if we're gonna discuss them, you kind of got to go all the way back and you got to work through them. But the other thing we have to talk about is Pete because Pete was this huge villain back in
Yeah.
the black and white films, you know, and then he has to change into being Goof's still villainy, but like best friend? Question mark.
Yeah. It's a very interesting like it's like okay, if we took the fantasy element out of old Disney, right? And we're like, okay, what would it look like in just a 90s suburban life? And it's kind of like, oh, here's the equivalent now, you know? It's very interesting. It's really clever. Like the movie's very smart. Like the way these things play off each other.
We
Yeah,
talk
and starting with, you know, Max's little dream. He's got
Yeah.
he's having his moment. And as a kid, it's this pretty, you know, beautiful flower field. And then as an adult, you know, that can have more meaning. It's so right off the bat, we're adding some layers. But then he wakes up, we have a good hidden Mickey with the, you know, the phone being a Mickey Mouse and just
Yep.
all of the little Easter eggs there and it being so casual, like, well, why are you going out with Mickey and Donald? You know, and he's like, nope, we're going on a road trip together, you know.
Yep.
well, like I said, they wanted to make a John Hughes animated movie, and they nailed it in every way. As someone who's a huge John Hughes fan, it feels like an animated John
Yeah.
Hughes.
And if I'm not mistaken, and I could be wrong about this, I think the first Goofy short was titled How to Fish. And I didn't learn that till recently. And I was like, is this like a very clever way that they're going on a fishing trip and like it shows like it's Goofy's like oldest pastime? But I could be wrong about that. But I thought that was the first one.
Well, why don't we look it up? Let's do it.
If I do
I
that, I
because I'm
lose
also curious. Let's
all
see.
the cameras and stuff. So I'm not going to look that up. I learned that last time we podcasted.
Okay, let's see.
Goofy and Wilbur is what I'm seeing. Goes
His
fishing with his
first,
pet grasshopper.
yeah, it says his first appearance was in Dippy Dog, but that's in a Mickey short. So what is Goofy's first? Um,
I from what I'm seeing, it was 1939. Goofy and Wilbur. I see. I saw this titled How to Fish, but How to Fish is all the way down here. 1942. Okay. What's interesting is there's like two. In 1939, there was a film that looks like called Goofy and Wilbur, and the description I'm seeing is Goofy goes fishing with his pet grasshopper Wilbur, who acts as bait by jumping across the water to attract the fish. And then in 1942, there was How to Fish, which is probably like kind of like a redo of that. It looks like. So it's interesting. So Goofy like our first intro of a Goofy solo cartoon was fishing related,
I mean,
which
the
is like a fun
perfect
theme stuff.
cast is adorable. It's such like a smart little bit, and the fact that it comes into play multiple times, like not even just the dance move, but when Max has to realize it's like when they're going down the waterfall, and it's like, Dad, you have to do it, and that moment when Goofy feels so appreciated and loved, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
What's also beautiful is Lester's Possum Park.
Oh
Oh
my
my
god.
god.
I love that song. That song just will randomly pop into my brain, the Lester's Possum song, and it's like there for the week. Like every time, like it gets me. And that scene is great when he slaps the head on backwards. Beat it, doofus, and like smacks the head around. Like it's great. It just kills me, like in the way that old slapstick Goofy cartoons do.
Yeah, I guess I'm thinking about it, and that would have come out before Country Bear Jamboree, the attraction at Disney.
Huh. That's interesting.
Or did it? When did Country Bear come out?
I
I should know this. I did a whole episode on it. Bad job by Kelly.
I
I mean, that
this
was
is
a
good.
little while ago. It's been a
This
hot
could be
minute.
revisionist history, but I thought I remembered seeing that show when I was like 7, which is before Goofy movie. But I could be
Let's
wrong.
see.
I think it's very old, was my thought.
Well, it came because the original idea was from Walt wanting to he was going to make like a ski resort. Um, oh, wow, I am so wrong. Wow, I should be fired from being a fan of Disney. It did open when Disney World, so
Okay.
1971. So, because I can't help but look at Lester's Possum Park and just immediately think of the Country Bear Jamboree. Like they are one and the same. They are
Okay.
cousins.
Yep. No, it's fun. It's almost like they're poking fun at themselves a little bit with that. And
Yeah.
and to go back just a hair, you were talking about the perfect cast and how great it is, and the moment where they're on the waterfall, like we're unlocking layers I never realized about this movie, where like the perfect cast is like so symbolic of like all like Goofy just wants to spend this time and like pass this thing on, and like literally and figuratively, it is what saves them. Like in this way, and
Yeah.
I just never really put that together until this conversation, and it's just like wow, this movie is an onion.
And it saves them in that moment from death,
Yep.
and then it saves them at the Powerline concert because
Yeah.
it's you know Max's way of figuring out, oh my God, it's a dance move. Please don't arrest us. Which the fact that they didn't get arrested is amazing.
Yeah, it's fine back in the
Uh,
time. Nowadays, that would have, yeah, they'd be arrested. But also, it's Goofy. I feel like
but
in
yeah,
that
like
world,
Yep.
everybody knows Goofy.
yeah, he just gets away with anything.
And there's that cool element too where they're on stage and he realizes the perfect cast is like the correct dance move. And it's like that cool thing with like Max, you just like to think he's like, maybe my old man is a little cooler than I realized. You know? And it's so heartwarming. Oh man.
And then he's very proud for Roxanne to meet his dad, Goofy.
Yeah. That's done so well too, like with Roxanne, their whole relationship. It's like so innocent in like the cutest way. It's like so real. It's like I remember that. You remember those feelings when you were a kid. You know what I mean? And you're excited about somebody. It's just like it's so authentic.
Yeah.
Their first like high school crush.
Wow.
Which, that was, like I said, I know I would have seen it before high school, but I do think it's funny. I happened to watch it, and my obsession came from when I was in high school because of a boy.
Yeah. It's so apropos for that movie.
Now,
Yep.
now imagine, if you will, Goofy was voiced by Steve Martin.
Was this in the documentary?
It was that the
Yeah.
producer at the
This almost
time wanted, they watched the cut of the movie, and he was like, but what if he was voiced by Steve Martin? And they're like, Steve Martin being Goofy? They're like, no, just him as Steve Martin.
Well, I'm really glad that whoever shut that down shut that
Well,
down. I haven't had time to watch this documentary yet. So please, anything
yeah,
that you learned
I
from
don't
it
want to
that
spoil too much more of it 'cause it was great.
is
But
exciting to talk about.
they did have Bill do his normal voice for like a portion of the movie to play it for him, and that's what made him change his mind. That Goofy sounding normal wasn't working.
I can't even picture Bill Farmer not one. It's really hard to picture anyone else as Goofy because for I would say our entire lives it has been Bill Farmer.
Yeah, he's goofy to us especially.
He's goofy.
We know, yeah, yeah. I guess the idea was like the producer Katzenberg was kind of like, well, we could bring some star power in, and we could just kind of like almost like he was trying to like outthink, be too smart about like what if Goofy was just Steve Martin for this one movie? That way, like we can bring in some star power, and it's a different take, and it's almost like the way that like the Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers movie was like set in the Roger Rabbit. That's how it would have made me think of. Like it's almost like, oh, you're kind of being
Yeah.
like clever, but like thank goodness that isn't what happened because that would just not have worked like at all. Clearly, and I love Steve Martin. This is not a knock on Steve Martin,
No, Steve
but
Martin's amazing.
right.
Yeah,
But it's just like Goofy should be goofy.
I think that by having it be Goofy's voice with the tone and message that it has, if anything, it kind of just humanizes and makes Goofy more than just a caricature of someone and bring up kind of because his creation isn't great, right? Like we don't love where the character stems from historically.
Yeah. Right.
So by saying, okay, that's not like don't think of that. Like let's focus on this Goofy. Let's focus on this well-rounded silly guy who messes up but like loves hard and will end up somehow figuring it out. Like that just makes Goofy it's going to become, so many people's favorite character, not just a caricature.
Right. Yeah, and I think he really is. I mean, the popularity of Goofy in the parks is like unbelievable.
Yeah.
Like it's wild. I like I was saying before, I tend to not get starstruck. I did see Goofy and Max Goof together in the park and I lost my mind.
Oh my God, me
I
too.
they were I got off Tower of Terror and they were waving to people from like the turret of Tower of Terror just hanging out up top. And I was like, what is going on right now? Like, how is this happening? And I was like, if they come out, like, I'm gonna have to go say hi to them. And I've never done a meet and greet with a cat. Like, it's just not my thing. And I was like, I have to see Max and Goofy. Like, I have to. I was so about it.
I have the exact same story of, well, not the Tower of Terror part, but just like I don't usually do meet and greets. But I
Yep.
was like, I have to do this. It's the only reason I'm sad I didn't go to 90s night was because, they had Max in his Powerline outfit. And oh my
Yep.
God, I would have loved to like have gotten pictures there. But
Two things on that. I'm pretty sure we saw Max at your bachelor party at the same thing in Tower of Terror. I think he was just hanging
Yeah,
out.
that's when it was
Yeah,
actually.
yeah.
Yeah, that's right.
And
Yeah, my
then
bachelor party was, Disney, of course.
oh,
Disney
fun.
and Universal. We went to horror nights at Universal, but we were like, we have to go to Disney while we're here. So,
That's a great bachelor trip.
oh, it was great. Yeah, it's definitely our speed, like where we want to be.
I'm shocking everybody and not having Disney involved in anything.
Wow.
I know.
as people who don't go to Disneyland, we go to Disney World. We are both very jealous of things like 90s night and all the awesome things your theme park does. Also, being open past 9 o'clock is cool.
Oh my gosh, it's the best. It's I love going even from 10 to midnight. You can easily ride half the park.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's insane.
We're gonna have to do a
And
Fitz and go to Disneyland for sure.
100%. And where our Universal closes at 6.
Ours does too most of the time.
Oh, really? The one
Yeah.
in Florida?
Yeah, it's pretty.
Then
It's
sometime,
like
yeah.
6 or 7, and then but horror nights obviously it's like different. It's a separate ticketed event. But yeah, it's like my biggest complaint. We love Universal, but like we're out of there at 6, like hanging around.
They're
Yeah,
doing Fan Fest here right now at Universal, and it honestly looks awesome
the Back to the Future stuff blew my mind.
because it's like on the lot, which back in the day when auditions were in person and you actually went on lots, it was always really exciting to be there or like Warner Brothers, and just walk around these iconic studios and get to
Yeah.
see stuff like that. So it's cool that they've opened that up for people to go hang out in.
Yeah,
They don't like be a little extra nice to you since you were in a Jurassic Park movie. Can't be like,
You would
hey, I
think.
was in this movie. Can I just at least like, I don't know, like walk on this ride maybe?
So actually, I have not done the Jurassic World ride at Universal Hollywood yet, and I'm being weirdly superstitious about it.
Is it
I
the
think it's
same
because
one that's in Orlando, the Velocicoaster, or is it
No, no, the
different?
one.
no, it was the Jurassic Park ride, which I've
Oh,
been on many times, but they rethemed it to Jurassic World. And after, I don't know, I was like, I was in this movie. That's weird. I don't know. I've just been superstitious about it, but it's time. It's time for me to ride it.
and you might feel the same way if you do
Yeah, I hear good.
Velocicoaster because that's very Jurassic
Oh,
World.
yeah, yeah.
I can't wait to ride that. Everybody says it's amazing. So,
Oh, it is awesome.
can you imagine if they rethemed Rock and Roller Coaster to Powerline music?
That was my hope. Like that's what I wanted out of it. I
I have
understand.
I think
It's a
the Muppets will be fun.
I have lots of
They
thoughts
will
on
be. I
this.
mean, we love Muppets too over here. I think Powerline's just a little too narrow, even with the pop culture relevance now of Goofy movie. And I mean, I still wanted it, regardless of that, But
Yeah.
I'm just
be great.
surprised they never
Muppets will be
tried
great.
it. Like they've done overlays with so many other rides and doing things. Like you couldn't just try it and see what happens.
Honestly, like I think I just might throw in my earbuds next time I go on Rock and Roller Coaster and just put on a Powerline song, just to hear.
Oh,
Like, why not,
I
right?
like that. Yeah, don't make sure they're not AirPods. Like do ones with a cord that
Okay.
attach to your body.
Yeah, that's a very good idea. That's a very good advice.
Hey, you could use
But
that real quick.
uh, I miss because they used to theme our Space Mountain to Ghost Galaxy. Some people hated this. I loved it. It was really spooky and weird and
I loved your Space Mountain. I got to go on it like that one time I was there for 10 hours. That was one of the rides I made sure I went on. I made sure I did that. Matterhorn, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, of course.
of course.
I did the roller coaster that's now Incredible Coaster. I don't know what it was before.
California Screamin'.
Yeah. But I need to get back there. It's been a hot minute.
It's amazing.
Yeah, the two biggest ones I hear that people always say is like so much better out there. Pirates, I hear that Pirates is so much better, and I just hear the food is so much better out there, which I hear that all the time, like the food in Disneyland. But is that not true?
We've taken a little bit of a detour, so we'll talk about this and then whatever else you guys want to talk about with
Sure.
Goofy, Mr. Goof. I would say our Pirates is way better. Like not even a competition. The only one that's supposed to be the best, I think, is Shanghai, and I have not been on that, so I cannot speak on that. Um, food. Here's my issue. I would do a whole podcast episode on this. I have a severe food allergy, so Disney food and I aren't really friends because I'm allergic to corn. We live in America. Corn is in everything. My issue with Disneyland is because Disney World and Disneyland are like two different companies. They operate as two fully separate entities. Disney World, you go and you're like, I have a food allergy. They have pictures of every single ingredient. Everything is listed out in extreme detail. They know what's up. I go in Disneyland and like, I have this food allergy, and they're like, okay, don't eat here. My favorite was one time somebody told me I could get a plain baked potato. Like they were like, go over to the other park. They have plain baked potato. I They gave me like recently at Bengal barbecue. I can't have any of the sauces. So they're like, here is literally unseasoned grilled vegetables that are like foam. Like
Oh man. That's not doesn't
so
make seem very Disney-ish.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's just so look, is the food better? Maybe I think the restaurants, because I usually have to do the sit downs just because they're more thorough. And I think that 9 out of 10 Disney World sit downs are much better. In terms of quick service, I probably would agree with that too. Like I think of Animal Kingdom or Epcot. I mean, way better. Magic Kingdom is bad, but so is, it's theme park food. And then
Yeah.
I'm the care that they put into the food here, I think is less. I think they have cool sweet treats and stuff that they do, but I don't know. They're not accommodating, so I have opinions.
No, sure, understandable. All right, so we were talking Goofy. We're kind of getting towards the end, I think. Is there anything else we want to touch on with a Goofy movie?
I think it's whatever you guys want to talk about. I'm just here for the ride.
I do love that. Besides, like the extremely goofy movie, in canon Disney lore, all that happened, and Max and Roxanne are still together. Like I distinctly remember, it was the new Mickey Mouse cartoon they have. That's basically the Mickey and Minnie's Runaway Railway, same style. There's Goofy pulls out his wallet and there's a bunch of pictures, and it's one of Max and Roxanne still together to this day. So like canon lore,
Oh,
they are still together, and that's just adorable.
I love that.
I love that. That's so cute.
Yeah, I remember you telling me that, and I kind of forgot about it. That's really, really cool. Like everyone loves like the happy ending, like 100%, right?
They also just dropped like a Disney lo-fi thing with Max just hanging out in his room, like a lo-fi beat list. It was a video that just kept playing. And it also had random Kingdom Hearts references in it. So it's like, does Max know about Kingdom Hearts? And Goofy's just like telling him, like the running joke on that is Kingdom Hearts was a D&D campaign that Goofy was telling Max about.
Oh, I love that. I have not heard that before.
No, me neither. And I'm a D&D nerd. That's awesome. That's
I
really,
mean, you
really
think
cool.
about it, it's like, yeah, that totally makes sense.
It
Yeah, it
does.
really does.
And it's where Donald is the most powerful being that lived, so
Yeah, as he should be.
as he should be. I am always interested how they connect certain pieces, from different content across. Like I was saying, I feel like a Goofy movie and then a stream Goofy movie is also great, but you know, it does change some of the story. But then those movies got rid of some of the old school ideas, not all of it, it just expanded the characters.
I do wish it had more representation in the park. I mean, there's so many Disney properties that deserve more representation, but it has become a cult classic. But maybe Disney just didn't realize it until the 30th, and at that point, they're like, can't put a 30-year-old movie in a park for a ride or something.
Right. I think we're at a point too where nostalgia is becoming it's very, very powerful. And like I think that we're in like almost a renaissance where the Disney parks are realizing what Goofy movie means, and that's why we're just seeing it more and more now. And it's great. Like I can't believe like just seeing Max was like I didn't see Max like years ago at the parks. Like I don't know about you guys, but I don't remember seeing Max, especially not dressed as Powerline.
Nope.
So like to see that recently pop up was just like they're really leaning into the nostalgia of it now.
I saw Max once at Hollywood Studios when I was in high school, and I acted like I was 4. Like, and I didn't even get to go say hi. The line was too long. And I like saw him from across. I was like, oh, Max. Like, I.
Yeah.
It is funny when you get almost starstruck by these, you know, characters in a park more than I feel like I do celebrities. You know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they were there for our childhood, right? So I think there's that little bit of like
Yeah.
that's who's seeing them when you see them in the park, right? Like it's the part of you that loved them at that time in your life. So that's why you just that childlike wonder pops back up and it's like that's Goofy, that's Max, it's very powerful. It's really, really cool. And like that's why Disney matters. Like I always when we talk in this podcast, I always talk about like we'll talk about something that's important to us and I'll say and this is why a theme park matters. Like it's not just a thing to do, like it's an escape. It's a way of life for some of us and it's
Yeah.
really a bonding experience and I think that but the bonding experience of a theme park is why it matters for me and like my story. Like I being there with the people I love is like my favorite thing in the world and always will be. Like hands down.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Yeah, I mean, we've
Yeah,
been lucky
absolutely.
enough to go multiple times with family, with each other. Like, you're
Yep.
the record for besides. No, you're beating significant others at this point of going to
Yeah.
Disney with
Yep.
and Universal more with you. And
Yeah.
That's funny.
we're at the age now where like nostalgia, like you said, nostalgia's hitting, but we're also adults and can spend the money on nostalgia, and everyone's starting to realize that. Not in a, I mean, capitalist is everywhere, but I have zero issue going and buying all the stuff I didn't get to buy when I was a kid. Now that I have extra
Sure.
disposable income,
Yep.
Yeah, adult money is fun.
yeah.
Yeah. Right.
Adult money said, Kelly, you should not buy this shirt that I'm wearing right now, but I did it anyway.
Absolutely.
um, the only other thing I don't think we really got to talk about is Powerline himself. I mean, we touched on the songs, but why the nostalgia of that and like what an icon Powerline is. Um, he's kind of this mix between Prince and Michael Jackson,
Mm-hmm.
and it's a it's a pop star that like we can all look up to and like know that excitement and that feeling. And the fact that he's like so nice to Goofy and Max just makes it that much better.
Yeah.
And uh and the fact that it was like this artist is so big that they have a concert that is airing on national television that everyone will be sitting down to watch.
Yep. Yeah. It is. It's so great. It's so campy in that way, and like and it's so like sweet and just like like all these kids in high school just like adore this guy, and like it's so wholesome in like the best way. Like you know what I mean? Like it's like yeah, we all love Powerline. Like nobody's too cool for Powerline. You know what I mean? Like how kids like to be in high school. Like he's just the guy. And like Tevin Coleman, like his sorry, Tevin Campbell, um, his voice is just like oh, what a perfect pick. Like it's beautiful. It he looks like you look at Powerline like yep, that's the voice that should come out of like him. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Also, full album when? Like, why have we never? How did you not capitalize
I
on this
know.
and give us more songs?
Yeah. That's a really good point. They never did make a full album of
All right, so I guess we'll just kind of wrap this
Well,
up.
there is something I want to go back
Seems
to. We were talking
good.
about the power line thing. Clearly, Goofy knows that it's important to Max because there's no way a 14-year-old boy has bought all that stuff with any money he's owned. So Goofy's like bought Powerline stuff and encouraged this habit. But it's just like
That's a
true.
cute.
which just makes you think
Yeah.
like my parents like going out back in the day when Power Rangers was popular. My mother waiting at KB Toys to get them for us. She's like, I don't know what this is, but you guys wanted
Well,
it, so
Yeah.
we
yeah,
really,
having that full cardboard cutout, I mean, that's a commitment.
yeah.
Yep. That's such a nostalgic piece too, like the cardboard cutouts.
He
Maybe
Yeah.
because I'm
tried,
not a
man.
kid anymore, I
Goofy
just feel like
really tried.
that those don't exist anymore.
Um, I have a cardboard cutout of Danny DeVito.
That's amazing.
Like a particular Danny DeVito. Like
Just Danny DeVito. It's actually my friends. Let this inspire you. This has nothing to do. I agree though with the cardboard cutout being just like a nostalgic thing. But my friends do this thing called Crappy Christmas where they all exchange a really bad gift with each other. And my friend received this Danny DeVito cutout, and then he started trolling me when he wasn't my roommate anymore, and he would leave it in different rooms in our house, in our apartment, and then I would bring it back to his apartment and hide it, and then we just kept doing
yeah,
that, and then now it's just kind of it lives at my house, um,
that's
and
awesome.
So
I forgot it's like in our guest room, and so I had to be like, somebody staying with us was like, hey, I just really need to ask, what what is that Danny DeVito doing?
So we have a similar thing when we worked together, which is ironic that you bring it up. It wasn't so much a bad gift, but Chip and I are particularly fond of a character you may be familiar with called Jeremy Jam,
Oh, nice.
and we
Yeah,
would just print out random pictures of Jeremy Jam saying "you got jammed" and leave them in each other's things.
Like hide them around the office.
that's amazing.
Fitz
My
eventually won the game though. Fitz, what did you do?
So besides the fact that we have amazing people where we work that they laser printed a Jeremy Jam on a dice vault, I had him do a cameo and for Chip about our little game and bet, and he did.
Yep.
oh,
So
I guarantee he loved that.
Yeah, I got jammed. Like I got jammed in real life. Like
That is awesome.
Yeah, that was the crowning achievement of my life to this point. Absolutely.
That's really, really cool. Do you still work at Woodworm?
Wormwood, yep. We both are still there.
Wormwood.
That's actually
Nice.
what led us. Like we were friends and we were like social in high school, but we weren't really overly friendly. We had circles that intertwined, and then
Yep.
years ago, I went to PAX East and Wormwood was there, and I saw Chip, and I was like, "Oh, this place is local." He's like, "Yeah, it's around town." And then when I became unemployed for my job, I applied there and kept applying there and harassed them until they hired me, and then we became friends through that.
Yeah. And
Amazing.
now we have a podcast. It's great.
And now you have a podcast where you get to just reminisce about how great a Goofy movie is.
Yeah, among other things, but
Yeah.
yes. We have Emperor's New Groove
Yeah.
coming up this year too, because that has an anniversary. So I'm very stoked about that one.
Oh man, I rewatched that too recently. It's so good.
Yeah, it really. I one of my Disney cardinal sins is I hadn't seen An Emperor's New Groove till like last year when Fitz made me watch it.
Oh my God. Well, I'm glad he
No,
made you.
it's amazing. Don't get me wrong. Like I absolutely get it. I missed that one.
Yeah,
But
it's
yeah,
It's
so good.
a lot of these movies got a bad rap, including a Goofy movie. A Goofy movie is in the same category, I would say, as An Emperor's New Groove, where it was almost like the B list because it wasn't A
I
Lion
know.
King, Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, uh,
Aladdin.
Aladdin.
Yep.
I mean, at least it wasn't Black Cauldron.
What a wild ride that is. Uh, Gurgi. Um, and then so you had those, and then I feel like you have Tarzan is in the middle
Yeah, I think that's fair.
because it isn't one that is everywhere, but that music, whew, the only one to rival Powerline, you know? And then it kind of goes over here with a Goofy movie, Emperor's New Groove, Atlantis Treasure Planet. Atlantis and Treasure Planet are both great movies.
Underrated. Absolutely underrated. Movies.
Underrated.
Yeah.
And the only ones that should be a live action film. Stop doing the other ones.
Oh, yeah, preaching to the choir. Yeah, we talk about this all the time. Nobody's asking for these.
You know, Kelly,
unfortunately.
you're making a
No,
lot of points that
they
make me
learned
want to have
that.
you on
They
the podcast
finally
more.
learned it.
Does
Yeah. Um,
anything
I
coming
don't
up?
know. How do we
People
wrap
should
this up?
anything coming up? People should pay attention to you for, or
For
want to know
me,
about. They know what we
well,
are
I
and what
can't
we
tell.
do. So
They know what you do. uh, yeah, please. If you'd like to follow me on social media, you can follow me on Instagram at Washington Kelly, like how you would write your name on a standardized test. Um, and please follow me on YouTube or TikTok at It's Kelly Washington. And Snapchat, I think, is Washington Kelly as well. And I cannot tell you about the thing that I just recorded because I signed an NDA that told me no, but I have a voiceover thing.
also
That's
she's in
awesome. That's
Jurassic
really,
World,
really
so
cool.
go watch that or Parks and Rec.
Yeah, go watch Parks and Rec. Always watch Parks and Rec and Jurassic
Yeah,
World.
that's on quite
Absolutely.
often in the background in my house.
Yeah.
It's both are excellent. And if you are a Disney fan, you can go back and watch Bunked.
Awesome.
I appreciate so much that you joined us. You're welcome back anytime to talk anything Disney related.
Thank you. Let me know when you talk about the Haunted Mansion. I'll be here.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
it's an
in
absolute,
5 minutes.
Yeah, right. It was an absolute pleasure. And thanks for coming on. This has been so fun. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, folks.
Thanks, guys. Oh,
Yeah, thank you. Nope, you're good. Um, yeah, I guess that about does it for this episode of the Fitz and Chip podcast. And I guess we'll see you in the next one, everybody. Take care.
Eye to eye.